Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 154, Lamar, The Last Thanksgiving.
Ironically, this will be our last Thanksgiving movie. We've been kind of let down. I don't know what it is. I think we need to really talk about, the industry's lack of Thanksgiving horror movies. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, this one actually used some Thanksgiving themes in it, Lamar. Let's break it down. Talk about the story.
Okay, so in our actual movie that we review that has something to do with Thanksgiving, it takes place on Thanksgiving Eve, correct?
Yes.
And there's this girl with this family. Of course, she doesn't like her family because she has to work, but she's mad about working even though she doesn't like her family.
Everybody in this movie is mad about something, Lamar.
They're either mad, they're sad about life, but
Yeah.
she's really mad because she doesn't want to go to work. Because who wants to go to work on Thanksgiving? So she goes to work, and then she has, all of the people there that she works with. But unbeknownst to her, there's a crazy group of just fanatics. Are they cannibals or just killers? I think, or do they descend from cannibals?
Well, I mean, they are cannibals because they eat people, so,
You're
but
right.
only on Thanksgiving, right?
Right. So they're holiday, they're Thanksgiving
Seasonal. They're
cannibals. They're
seasonal
seasonal. There you
cannibals.
go. They're seasonal cannibals. And so they are coming around making their rounds to eat people and we'll talk about this probably in Thanksgiving related, a long history of cannibalism.
There's a long
Uh
history of cannibalism, but the basic premise is they only kill and eat people that don't appreciate Thanksgiving, that are doing other things than spending time with their family.
exactly. This is a story with a lesson, Joe, that you should cherish Thanksgiving and the time that you have with your families.
Well, what do you give it for story?
I have to give this one a 1. I like the backstory, which we'll talk about because
Yeah.
boy, oh boy. And I really kind of think that this one, I'm going to maybe be biased. It actually has something to do with Thanksgiving. It's
Yeah.
Thanksgiving themed. So, yes, I will give it a 1. Yes.
I agree. 1 point for me. Same reason. It was kind of funny, the way
Yes.
it was laid out and stuff, and it did have a whole backstory, which is kind of crazy. But just the
Yes.
fact that these people only go around killing people on Thanksgiving and eat them and prepare them like they would a turkey and everything. So,
Yes.
so yeah. All
Hmm.
right. Well, the next category we're gonna talk about are the characters. What do we think?
Well, we talked about the main girl. She doesn't want to work on Thanksgiving. She's mad at everybody. She's known as being a B word to
Yeah.
her, fellow employees. You have the typical
Even her
manager.
mother too, right?
Oh
I think
yeah,
her
her
mother
mom
called
calls
her
her
that
all
too.
out of her name. She can't stand her. But then she has, the people she hangs out with work. You have like the goth girl that's kind of
Yeah.
like off to herself. You have the black dude, and he's, just there. He doesn't want to be there at all. Then you have the gay guy
Yeah.
who likes the black dude, but he's let down because he's pretty sure that the black dude isn't gay. He's in denial about it.
Yep.
And
Got
then you
her
have
boss.
the boss. Yeah.
But more importantly, the boss's father, who owns the business, who ends up being a kind of a goofy character, kind of funny.
I think he was a hero,
He was
Joe. He
heroic.
was a hero. And then you have kind of these two older women that are like, they kind of hang out with each other. So it's a variety of characters. They all
Yep.
had their little moments.
Oh, you didn't talk about the
So
villains.
we got to.
Talk about the villains.
The villains you have, it's a brother, it's two sisters, and a crazy guy with a mask on. Is he one of the brothers, or he's like a cousin or something like that?
I thought it was a brother, but
I
I'm
think
not
it's a
sure.
brother. Okay,
But he's
because we
like
don't.
the freakish one, I guess. Like
He's
I don't know.
nuts. He's crazy, but they're just chipper about eating people, Joe. They have their own little puns and everything like that, and they're the happy family that eats people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, what are we giving it for characters then?
Once again, 1.
I
I
agree.
liked all the characters. I like because it kind of reminded me of like Waiting, but with
Yeah.
cannibalism.
Yeah, I agree too. Like with the part that you said, there's an assortment of characters. Because I think the last movie that we saw with that was Amityville Thanksgiving, uh, there was a lot of characters, but like it was kind of blah. Like this was a bunch of characters interacting with each other, which made it fun.
Yes, that's what this movie had, what
Right.
should have taught the other movie.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yes.
Well, I guess you can kind of call this movie a horror comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we rating the comedy?
I thought there were parts where they were trying to be funny, but what made me laugh is some of the kill effects. We are going to
Okay.
talk about effects,
Yeah.
but I do like they had Thanksgiving themed kills in this movie. That warmed my heart, Joe.
Okay.
Where we're not going to spoil anything, but a man uses a whisk in a very interesting way, and he has a quip for it. I
Yeah,
like
as
it.
a little one-liner.
But yeah, I think I won't say like the comedy between the people wasn't funny, but the kills and stuff like that. The theme was funny to me. That's what I liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 point then.
Yes.
I'm giving it a half point for comedy.
Oh, you.
I thought it was pretty funny. Like I liked when the characters were interacting with each other. They were very awkward together. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But I did think kind of similar to the previous movie, sometimes the joke goes on a little too long. You know what I'm saying?
Not as bad as
Not as
Amityville,
bad.
though.
Not as
Not as
bad.
bad. Yeah.
So, but
Oof.
other that was just that. It was like sometimes it was like, okay, all right, enough. So half point for that. But going off what you said about the kills, how are we rating the special effects and the kills?
Let me first say, you could tell it was a low budget,
Yeah,
but it was practical effects
true.
and it was inventive stuff. You
Yeah,
had things coming from the wall, you had things coming from the ceiling, killing people. You had people being basically, prepared like food.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, I give it a 1. I enjoyed it.
1 point again.
What do you say, Joe?
I'm giving it another half point. I thought while I did appreciate the practical effects, I thought that was good. It had some gory stuff. I thought they could have went a little further.
A little further?
Thought they
Okay.
went a little crazier with this, and it would have been amazing. Because you
Well,
have already a premise where you're like killing people and eating them and stuff. I was like, oh, take it all the way, go nuts
so
with
you
this.
wanted to go balls to the walls,
Yeah,
freaking killing
almost
people.
let's go like trauma level, just go crazy and stuff. But I do appreciate the effort that they did with all the practical stuff. So yeah.
Yes.
Well, the last category, sir, and maybe the most important category, especially after the movie we saw last week,
Mm.
use of Thanksgiving.
So we got to go back to the villains.
This is very important.
So
This is very important.
you're gonna have to help me with this one. These people are doing this. They're killing people, eating people who don't appreciate Thanksgiving because it was related to the Thanksgiving, the first one,
Hmm.
where spoilers, uh, they were looking for. They didn't have enough food, I
Yeah.
guess,
So
and so they just killed people. Was it Indians or
they
it
killed
didn't
Indians
matter?
according
They
to
killed
the
Indians and
folklore.
fed them in the first Thanksgiving. And so in remembrance of this woman that did this, they do it every Thanksgiving.
Yep. And she's somehow still alive, which played it like she was practically a corpse, but somehow still alive.
Yes. Yeah, and I feel like this could be something because maybe this was, written in the stars, Joe. Maybe this is supposed to be like every Thanksgiving that starts a trend. Like you have this movie, like you have different like family cells that do this all across the country or
Mm,
world.
maybe so.
Yes.
But what I liked about it was that as the story was progressing, I was like, are they ever going to explain why these people do this on Thanksgiving? Like, because they established that they do it only on Thanksgiving. And I was like, but why? And then they finally went into this, the backstory that you just described. And I was like, I like it. I was like, that's
Exactly.
pretty freaking
Yeah, it's
funny. Like,
fun. Yeah, yeah,
and
it's
yeah, so
awesome.
good job with that. It's kind of inventive. It was fun. And so I'm giving it 1 point for use of Thanksgiving.
I agree. 1 point as well. Yeah, if they want to make another one of these, I think we would be there, Joe. I think, yeah. I think they have a good premise that you can keep repeating and stuff like that.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, we've tallied the score, and this one is a solid 4.5 out of 5 for the last Thanksgiving.
The last Thanksgiving saved Thanksgiving month, Joe.
It sure did.
Yeah,
It sure
ooh,
did.
we because okay, yes, turkey shoot really had nothing to do with Thanksgiving other than turkeys. And then we
Hmm.
saw Amityville Thanksgiving. We were like, oh, wow.
And Amityville Thanksgiving had enough of an interesting kind of basic plot or premise where if they would have taken some cues from this movie, like having the characters
Yes.
interact, having it something more to do with Thanksgiving, that would have been a pretty good one too.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate this one.
I do too. To everyone, if you're not doing anything, it's on Tubi. The
It is
Last
on Tubi.
Thanksgiving. It's directed by Eric Larink, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. But if you're looking for some family, deplorable fun, and looking for some good old cannibalism, The Last Thanksgiving is right up your alley.
Sure is. Does that wrap this up then?
Yep.
Last Thanksgiving. Peace.
Deuces.